Saturday night in southeast Portland started with calm at Laurelhurst Park, but then people marched to the old East Precinct building at 47th and Burnside. And later on, things got out of control. Police hit a shield line of protesters hard. Police say people in the crowd behind the line hurled firework mortars, rocks, and other items. It went on past midnight as part of the crowd did not leave, and some approached police, like this man who got doused in pepper spray.
We need a medic!
Police arrested 11 people, some for assaulting police officers. Earlier on Saturday, a pro-police group mixed it up with opposing protesters outside the Justice Center. And this is what those protesters say was left behind: a shell casing from one of 2 bullets allegedly fired in the crowd. Police are investigating. Then Sunday night, an assault downtown. And we want to warn you, it's a very disturbing scene, captured on video and shared online. We don't know exactly what led up to it, but the driver of a pickup truck that crashed was beaten severely on the street, including kicks to his head. One independent journalist reported that witnesses said the driver of the truck was driving erratically and may have been attempting to hit protesters. The man knocked unconscious and police say hospitalized with serious injuries. Police Chief Chuck Lavelle said on Twitter, PPB assault detectives are actively investigating this alarming assault. If anyone has information about this event, please contact us. Public safety is up to all of us. And new District Attorney Mike Schmidt wrote, the videos recently posted to social media that show a person being violently pushed to the ground from behind and another person being kicked in the face are extremely concerning. The actions depicted in these videos are universally rejected as wrong, and the actions are illegal. I condemn this violence. Some of the strongest images of violence we've seen in nearly 3 months of unrest. Police are asking anyone with information about that attack to come forward. They're also looking for witnesses to what appears to be a pipe bomb being thrown from an SUV and exploding near people downtown on Saturday. So far, they've not had any firsthand witnesses come forward. Tim Gordon, KGW News.